But let me pick out a reed I don't particularly like, and then I'll work on it and see if I can get something happening. Now, okay. Now this reed's a fairly new reed, and I didn't like it. One thing I wanted to mention: if a reed's too hard, first use the paper, and then and only if it is really hard. If you know, super hard, then you might use a little bit of fine sandpaper, but very gently, because you don't want to take too much wood off. But the other option is, if the reed is too soft, then you have the option of cutting it. And I actually have a reed cutter here. So this is very old, but basically you stick the reed in there with a little bit poking over, and then you cut it. It's very rudimentary. You do have to be very skilled at it. There are better ones out there. Now, in this case, I didn't particularly like this reed all that much, and I had to cut it because it was way too soft. But let me see if I can breathe some light into this reed, because I don't particularly like this one. Let's see what I can do with it. Okay, I still don't like it, but what I'll do, I'll give it a rub. Let's get a new piece of paper, shall we? Because, yeah, that's probably not as smooth as I'd want it to be, so let's give it a rub, shall we? Just to get that nice sheen on it. Just check the wood. Okay, now see how there's not a lot of wood. Okay, there's a little bit more wood there. We might want to shave that, but I think this reed's just too soft, and I might need to cut it again. As I said, you don't want to cut it too much. That's improved the sound already. One thing about this Selmer C95 130 mouthpiece is I get an absolutely beautiful sound on the lower register. I just love the sound of this shallow register on this particular mouthpiece. So you can see already that I'm actually really happy with this reed. And all I've done is rub the back of it, and I've moved it a little bit up the mouthpiece, because you'll notice when you experiment, and I've done a lot of experimenting, that where the reed is placed on the mouthpiece is actually really important. So, okay, if I put it slightly down so that you can see a little strip of black, I feel like this is a little bit too soft. It's giving me too brassy a sound for me. Yeah, it's just not giving me the sound I quite want, although you probably can't notice it. So what I'll do, I'll move it slightly up the mouthpiece so that you can't quite see as much black. Okay, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I use a Van Doren Optimum ligature, by the way. Okay, so let me just keep on experimenting. I'll just keep moving it up a little bit. Okay, I'm not happy with that at all, and I think it's not quite correctly on the mouthpiece. Let me just move it up a little bit more, and that's probably going to be way too hard. Actually, it's improved it, but I'm not convinced that the reed's completely balanced. So you can see, yes, the left-hand side is slightly harder than the right-hand side. Now, rather than going in and correcting that, what I'm doing is I'm moving it slightly to the left. Let me see if that improves the sound. It's a slightly rounder sound. But what you can do, and this has to be so delicate, and so you get your bit of reed brush, you just ever so lightly, because the reed works in a V. You would have noticed here that, see, it's kind of like a V. Well, this looks like a bit like a W, but ideally it runs in a V from here to here and from here to here. So this these bits here are the only bits you want to be doing any shaving on. To be quite honest, I don't shave mine half the time. I just place them on the mouthpiece in a slightly better position. So, okay, so what you can do is just shave it ever so slightly. Okay. So what you do is you just take the reed brush and ever so slightly adjust it. And you've got to keep. I'm actually really happy with that reed now. That's actually turned into a really nice reed because, and that's how easy it is. You take a reed that's absolutely crap and you do a little bit of, you know, sort of skullduggery here and there. Now I have a reed here that's too soft. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to show you how to cut it. Because you know, you'll see that, you know, that the V's right down here. There's not a lot of wood up there. It's, you know, it's an old reed. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's brown everywhere. it's mouldy. No, it's not mouldy. You know, so if I put it on its normal position, it's probably going to sound like it's quite soft. This is a soft reed. And another thing, if you have a stock of reeds, you get to know which reeds are nicer, which ones you'd use for certain situations. You get to personally know all your reeds. That's why I recommend having a few. So, and also reeds tend to get softer or harder the more you play them. So I find initially some reeds are quite hard when you first start to play them. If you wet them a little bit more and start playing them, and they start getting softer and softer. But reeds are funny things. So I'm just wetting it a bit more because I want to show you. It has a very brassy sound. There's a certain sound I like. It's a really round, sort of boppy sort of sound. Okay, that doesn't sound nice at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep moving it up the mouthpiece. Okay, that's a little bit brassy for my taste. So I'll just keep moving it up the mouthpiece till I'm happy with it. And so I'm not happy with that because it's further up the mouthpiece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a slight cut. Now it's going to be ever so subtle. And I mean, you'll hardly even know you've done it if you do it well.